Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman. What you're about to see is a video between my videographer and I. A couple of days ago, we were talking about some things. She was asking me some of the information and kind of mostly frequently asked questions that I get from other clients or from potential clients. So I thought we would just put this out there for you, and I hope you enjoy. I would say most clients see me here in my home office. We sit and chat for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, and that gets me my good connection with my client. We talk about everything except for the reading because I want to make sure that I don't taint that reading. If a client comes in and says, "Oh, I had a horrible day about my office," and then they ask me about their office situation, then it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like cheating. I've already knew you were having an office situation. So I tell them, as long as it's not something that we're going to talk about, we talk about the weather, usually talk about traffic, that sort of thing. Houston has lots of traffic. And so we just kind of chit chat and talk. And then when I get a good connection, I turn on my recorder, I get out my notebook, and we sit there and they start asking me questions. When they ask me questions, it's a really good way for me to know exactly where they want me to look at, because I could tell my clients, if you sat down in front of me, and I've had clients do this, where they sit down in front of me and say, "Tell me about me." Well, that's really vague. I could tell you tons of things about you that you really don't care. You may not care that your first grade teacher passed away, or you may not care that the postman his wife is about to have a baby. You may not care about those items right now, but it's one of those. So when you ask me questions, you're telling me exactly where you want me to go with my energy and where you want me to look at. Sometimes it's a relationship. Sometimes it's a work situation. It could also be with your spouse. It could be with your children, your grandparents, your mom and dad. It could be anything. I will send my energy in that area and then ask my angels and guides to come in with more information. A small group reading is usually about 8 to 10 people. My hostess never pays, because to me it's one of those, she's probably working very hard to get all of her friends and relatives to come. And usually my hostess will put out like a small maybe fruit tray or vegetable tray, something like that. Nothing major. We will usually I'll show up. I usually have someone who comes and assists me in some way to either help do check-in so I can start right on time. I go for the length of time. Everybody gets a chance to ask questions. I make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to ask me any question that they want. And I say, as long as you're brave enough to ask it in a group reading, I'm brave enough to answer it. So I've answered some crazy questions, and that's kind of fun. But it's usually a time where everybody's laughing and joking and really enjoying themselves. And everybody gets a chance to ask some type of question during that time frame. And then usually the last round, it's always the hostess choice. We will do, how many past lives do you have, and your 3 most connected past lives. Sometimes we'll do, how many angels do you have, and if you have any angel messages, kind of like gives your message light blinking, do you have a message waiting for you? And sometimes I'll do messages from loved ones on the other side. So that's always a fun event, and that's always my last round for the evening. I do have a lot of clients that don't live necessarily near me. I have clients in several different states, so that's kind of fun. Sometimes it's just a phone reading, so I'm just set up and have my cell phone on speakerphone, and so I can record this session, and then as they ask information, we'll do the same thing. We will start out with several questions, talking and chit-chatting, and then we'll go into the regular session. And then I also have some other options. We can do an online face-to-face through Zoom. We can also do through Skype and use that information and just kind of do a reading through there. Sometimes people that live far away they'll pay me for so long a period of time, and they'll just email me their questions. When I sit down that evening, I'll sit down and answer all their questions, and usually they'll get a chance to come back with any other follow-up questions, and that's their reading. So I do believe every person has psychic abilities, and some people are more in touch with them than others. I would also say that sometimes if people say, "Well, I don't have any psychic gifts," the thing is, if I really started talking to you about it, you'd probably figure out sometime that you felt like an intuition, or you felt like the phone just rang and you were like, oh my gosh, I know that's my mom, or I know that's my sister, or that's my brother, and you pick up the phone and oh my gosh, you're right. That is a psychic intuitive gift right there. So you do have psychic abilities, you just may not have worked on them. A lot of people that are psychics now have polished these gifts and abilities just like anything else. Like, you may learn how to ride a bicycle and you can ride up and down your street just great, but that doesn't mean that you're ready for a marathon by riding your bike. What we've done is we've fine-tuned our energy, we've corrected things that are wrong, we've removed barriers, and we've worked usually very hard to get to the abilities that we have right now, so we can use our gifts and abilities to give that information to others. Clairvoyant, actually the word clair means clear, and then the word voyant means to be able to see. So it means someone who can actually physically see a ghost. And everybody is going to see a little bit differently. Sometimes people see more of like just the shiny orb where it just looks like a sparkle. Sometimes people see full body apparitions from like head to toe. They're seeing like on a movie almost, they'll see the whole thing. Sometimes people just feel the energy and they don't actually see anything, or they may see just some energy in different areas, or it kind of looks like the best way to describe that is kind of when the heat comes off the road in the Texas heat, and it kind of waves. So sometimes it'll just look like a wave of heat in the corner. Well, that's usually a ghost. And some people see everything and other people don't, but they still have the same gift. Clair meaning clear, and sentient meaning sensitive. So when my clients are sensitive to energy, and you can kind of walk into a building and kind of go, oh, I'm just sensing things are wrong, that doesn't necessarily mean you have this psychic sensibility. What happens is when you walk around everywhere and all of a sudden you can walk through energy and feel upset or angry, you're taking that on yourself. Those are my clairsentients. Those are the people that I work with. I would say the majority of my clients that are coming up have this gift and ability. I often tell people if they walk through energy, and that could be someone arguing, they'll pick up that and they'll feel all of a sudden instantly like I'm not being heard, or I'm not getting my side listened to the way I feel like I should be, or I feel upset or angry, and it's really not their energy, it's they've picked up someone else's. That's a clairsentient, picking up someone else's energy. And so when that happens, we can go through several processes, and I can teach my clients how to remove that energy, how to clear that out of their space, and then also learn lessons like, is it my energy or is it someone else's energy? And if it's someone else's, like to give it back to them, because it's their energy. It's kind of like picking up someone else's trash. You need to give it back to them so they can deal with it. Thank you so much for watching my question and answer session with my videographer. And I hope that you subscribe and follow me on Facebook.